let's just everybody just go through and kind of give your input on what the positive results of the pilot mentor program were.
I thought some of the coolest ones were a lot of the employees got promotions or ended up liking the job they were in better because of the pilot program they went through with the mentoring. I guess just a lot of job satisfaction increased. They realized, oh, this is a good place to be. Like, it's a good company. There's a lot of places that I can go in the company. There's, I guess, room for me to grow in the company. So I thought that was really cool, and how they selected the people. They kind of selected specifically for that. They wanted to give people access to information and other people in the company.
Yeah, that seemed really good.
I liked how they talked about how they're constantly learning. I think that was definitely a pro, just knowing that even though you have a job, it doesn't mean you just need to stop learning. You can keep continuing to grow and learn from every opportunity that you have.
Yeah, I thought that it was neat that they were paired with people with similarities, I guess. It just kind of built a bond with the employees of the company. I thought that was cool. Kind of helped with the culture of the company, I think.
Okay, one of the things I really thought was a positive that some of the mentees said. Is it mentees or mentorees? I can't remember. But anyway,
Weird.
mentees, yeah, fresh and minty, was that they felt valued. That this type of a program makes them feel valued by executive management. So I thought that was really good. Some of the other things that they listed was the positive of having a network within the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I wasn't exactly sure, did you guys kind of understand the circle groups, that like some areas of the bank weren't part of this pilot program? Is that what you guys got from it?
Kind of. It didn't explain it too much, just that like there would be one mentor to like 6 mentees in certain parts of the bank or in certain departments, rather than the pilot program.
Yeah, one thing that I've seen with like a mentor type program is it gives you a lot of opportunities for cross training, where people can see what jobs other people do. Because I think sometimes in a big organization, certainly like a bank, like one department might think, oh, well, that department, they just sit around all day and look at numbers and they really don't contribute, or, they don't understand what other jobs are. And with this networking, I think they can get different perspectives from different departments. Yeah, you guys hit most of the big ones here. All right, so those were really good positives. What do you think? What aspects of the program contributed to having these positive things?
I think the fact that they could volunteer for the positions, it wasn't something forced upon them. They asked hey, who's willing to be a mentor? And people were more volunteering other than being forced into it, which you don't really give it 100% if you're forced into anything. I feel like if you volunteer for something, you treasure it more, and you have more value if you are the one putting your energy and time volunteering into it.
Yeah, to kind of go along with that too, they were able to do it during work hours, so it wasn't like an extra burden upon them.
I agree.
The other thing with
made the biggest difference.
Yeah, I like when you mention like during work hours, because that really shows the value that the bank placed on the program. They were willing to sacrifice some productivity in order to have this program go forward. So they felt that, you know, the 4 hours a month that the mentorees met with their mentors was more valuable than, you know, the 4 hours that they would spend doing their regular job. Any other aspects that maybe contributed to the positives?
Just, I mentioned it earlier, but that they could, or that they matched up the employees and mentors based on similarities. So
Yeah,
I think
thorough matching process.
yeah, without that, I don't think it would have been nearly as successful.
We talked about the one girl who was more of an art major that was working in HR, and how she didn't really feel like she got a fit, but they matched her up with another person with that similar kind of interest and hobby, and worked out really, really well for her.
Is there any one person that maybe made the program successful?
I don't think so. I mean, there was a group that kind of put everything together and kind of got it up and running. There were some of the upper management that were involved in the process, but I think a lot of it just kind of came down to the individual. Like, whoever put in, like, if they wanted to get a lot out of it, they did. And others may not have gotten near as much out of it because they didn't want to put in the individual effort.
So you guys wouldn't say that the program manager, Amy, because a certain way through the program, she really took on the program full time. I think that's all she did. Can't remember when it was. Do you think her guidance of the program maybe had anything to do with the positive outcomes?
Yeah, she said that because salaries are not the driving force, we've got to continually think of ways to provide incentives for people that want to work here and stay working here. So I think she helped with the whole retainment of employees.
Wasn't there a time when one of the mentees wanted to drop out and Amy got together with the mentee and the mentor and kind of got things going, and that person stayed in the program?
Yeah, she said you can't stop now. And then she asked, like, what's the problem? And they kind of like talked it through.
All right, so involvement and then problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is there can you guys think of some other things that we didn't talk about that maybe the bank could have incorporated to make the program better, more positive? Do you guys remember some of the suggestions that employees made that suggested that it could have made it better?
I can't tell if they talked about this, but like doing check-ins, like frequent checkups, like how's the mentoring process going? How's your mentor? How's your mentoree? Kind of things. When maybe HR could be a little involved. I don't remember if they were actually quite involved, but.
One of the things unless you guys have something, one of the things I remembered was as she was doing the 1, 3, and 6 month evaluations, one of the things that she did kind of get was, and I think this was kind of middle management, like the mentees managers needed they needed more buy-in and support, because I think some of them questioned the value of their employee being, taken away from their regular job for 4 hours a month. And the other thing that was mentioned was like vocal support. So my thinking was, if that was kind of a comment, maybe some of the mentees were getting a little pushback from their managers, that they weren't sure if the program had value or if it was worth it. So that was the thing if I were Amy, I'd probably maybe do some training, not just with the mentors and the mentees, but also with the managers of the mentees, and maybe have a successful mentee that's like really positive about the program come in and, I don't know, like a little testimonial about the program, so that the managers are kind of like, oh man, I wish more of my people in my group under me participated in this.
I think one of the things that is maybe they could take better surveys too, because in the second reading, I just had 5-question survey, and they're just kind of more vague questions. I don't think they got very specific feedback about it, because the people just put they strongly disagree, agree, or strongly agree. Most everybody just gave positive feedback across the board. So I wonder if there could be a spot for maybe more like additional comments, or if they could somehow get the survey to be a little bit more specific. Maybe that would give them some other ideas too.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how valuable feedback from our instructors are when it comes to assignments and paper. The more specific the feedback it is, the better you can improve it. So I would think that Amy would want the most specific feedback to improve the program, and not, if she gets one or two, kind of weird ones, but if lots of the mentees and mentors are suggesting the same things or giving the same feedback, then she can kind of tell that's probably important. That's a good way to, make improvements to a program, any type of human resources program. Can you guys think of any other ways to make improvements to a program other than the feedback mode?
Maybe just telling them, like, hey, if you're not satisfied with your mentor or your mentee, just come talk to me and we'll reassign you to someone else. Just like that open, things don't always work out the way they want to, so don't feel like it's your fault. Just know that you can always go to like the HR manager to get reassigned without being like penalized or being judged.
That's a really good idea. It's kind of like, it's almost like an exit interview before the exit happens. I think good companies, when employees leave, if they do a really good exit interview, they can find out, ways to improve the company. If they get a lot of people leaving because, well, the benefits are better over at this company, you might say, well, we want to retain our good employees, so we want to improve the benefits. So with this program, if somebody wants to kind of drop out of the program, or even, at the end of the program, if they can have them be specific as to why they want to drop out, solve that problem then, as well as for future participants. All right. So the next part is kind of just a general discussion about mentoring. So how does mentoring, how can mentoring help employees with their career development?
Well, I think of like how we've had to do internships. just having that person that has been in that situation before, that knows the process and knows what you need to do to succeed at your job, just having them there to ask questions to and to look up to really helps.
Yeah.
Make or break a situation, because for my internship I had a mentor and I was already kind of skeptical about the job and the career, and then once I realized what type of a mentor he was and how just kind of complacent he was and didn't really help me with anything, I like had a sour taste in my mouth for financial planners. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't want to go into this position just because he was such a horrible mentor. Like, he was so selfish, didn't even give me the time of day. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to pick a different occupation. And because I think it had the reason why I'm not becoming a financial planner, I think has a lot to do with my mentor. He just didn't give me a good vibe of that occupation or that career choice. Didn't want to end up like him.
Yeah, another thing I was thinking that a real big benefit of mentoring is just connections and networking. You never know when you're going to need help up with your career. I guess mentoring within a company, it's kind of limited, but if you can find a mentor in your industry that's outside of your company, if your company downsizes or you get laid off or something like that, you've got a really good resource of somebody else, who may know who's hiring and, different things like that. So I think the networking is huge with mentoring. I know I've been a mentor to a couple of people, and I really take a personal interest in their success. This is a good question. Why would a company want to create a formal mentoring program rather than allowing mentoring relationships to form more naturally? So formal versus natural.
I think from the company standpoint is they might have a little bit more of a control over what happens and maybe what specifically they get to learn. There may be certain points that the company wants the mentees to be kind of mentored on, and specifically get moving towards to meet the company goals better.
That's good. Yeah, the controlled environment.
Yeah, I don't know if they would necessarily happen on their own, really. Like, new employees come in and maybe the older, more senior employees just kind of look down upon them, I guess. So I think it's important that, or it would be better for it to be part of a program. That way they are insured to get a mentor and have someone to help them.
I feel like if it's informally, it's probably just because of word of mouth that there's like internship positions. But if it's more formal, I feel like there's a lot more applicants, so you have a greater chance of accepting someone who has more experience for an internship for the company. So you have like more of a wide variety of applicants, I would say, if you made it more formal.
Greater participation, yeah. One thing I was thinking about when you're mentioning like the new employees might just kind of hang out with the new employees and the old ones with the old ones, is that might turn into like kind of cliques or like good old boys versus the new young women, or something like that.
Yeah.
I also thought that it might, a formal program would be better for somebody that might be kind of introverted, not really ready to step outside of their comfort.
Yeah.
All right. what might have been improved in the Federal Reserve Bank program?
Mhm.
Everybody jump in at once.
Trying to think how to answer that.
You like what could have been changed?
Yeah, what improvements? We kind of talked about it earlier. I don't know if this is
Yeah.
kind of a,
I
yeah,
feel like
'cause we
we're-
talked about manager training, better surveys, open door problem solving.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any other improvements?
I think one of the things I was just thinking about is they had that one big group session at the very beginning, and maybe that would be good. And also, I know it's nice to have one mentor, but if it's a year-long program, maybe it'd be good if they had one mentor for 6 months and then they swapped and had a different mentor for the other 6 months. That might help just kind of diversity, and then also figure out just another what person's perspective in the company and how things work.
So switch mentors halfway through for diversity and a varied experience.
Yeah.
Any other improvements you'd make? Okay, moving forward. Why do you think less people signed up for the second round?
One part says that the length, since people had to catch up on 2 days of missed work after the training. So I feel like maybe people realized, oh, because I'm mentoring, that means I have to work maybe a weekend to catch up on all the work that I missed because of the 2-day training.
So maybe an adjustment to the program to where somebody could fill in for them, almost as if they were like taking a couple of sick days or something, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think since it's a volunteer basis, I think every time they go and maybe do like a third round, there should be even less people, just because they've already gone through the people that really wanted to do it in the first round, and then the second round are the people who didn't get accepted, and maybe some people who had some other interests. But then you're going to start getting less and less people who are interested in it, and then you'll have all of the people who have already done the program. So I think they may need to change each round. So maybe the people who have already done the mentoring program can go ahead and do the second round or do a different time, and it'd be a new experience for them.
okay. Any other thoughts on why they had less people the second round? I think that was really good. Yeah, it's kind of the low-hanging fruit principle. It's like, well, the people that wanted to do it already signed up for it.
Yeah.
All right, so what can the company do to get more people to volunteer for the second time?
I think just kind of what you guys have already said, that they could find someone to kind of cover their jobs while they're doing the training, but also that they can continue with the training. I think, like, instead of it ending, just have it be a continuation, kind of. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It could also provide incentives.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. What kind of incentives do you think might work?
Maybe you get like a bonus at the end of this year, or maybe more vacation days, maybe time off. I don't know. Any of them could work.
Yeah.
The other thing, I don't know if it's not really an incentive, but in our whole reading talked a lot about like the games, how the training should have more of games and kind of have a more of a fun feel. So I think they can incorporate those a lot too. Maybe that would be a little bit more attractive to the applicants.
So maybe like a party or a picnic for the barbecue or something, catered lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So maybe even like, you know, where they have like those team building retreats or something like that. So they could do that for a weekend or something.
Yeah. That'd be a good idea.
Any other suggestions on how to get more people? What about making it mandatory for certain people? I mean, that would get more people, but I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
best way.
You could maybe even require like one person in each department go and do it. The one problem is it's not really volunteers. So kind of like you said, maybe they wouldn't put their whole, I guess, energy into it. They may just kind of sit in the program and not really get the most out of it.
Yeah, I like that idea because they can still volunteer for it, but at the same time, you're gonna boost your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now everybody should kind of give like their vote on these two questions. What should they do with the mentoring program going forward? So you're going to vote, should they expand it, keep it small, get rid of it, or make it mandatory? Out of those four things, or maybe a combination of two of those things, what do you guys think?
I'm kind of leaning towards keeping it small just so they can still like get specialization out of it, I guess. That it still means more to the employees and the supervisors as well.
Yeah, that's probably what I would say. I feel like definitely not make it mandatory, because if there's people in the office that do not want to be a mentor, and then all of a sudden they have the position of being a mentor, I feel like they're just going to put a sour taste in the mouth of the mentorees, because they're just going to be kind of like downtrodden, I would say, like, oh, this is what you do, this is how you do it, like not kind of like happy and peppy and like excited to be teaching someone else, you know?
I'm definitely in favor of keeping it small because I just think, well, one, they don't have to worry about their numbers as much. So they just have like 20 or 25 each round, then they should be able to keep their numbers going and keep the program running a little bit longer. And it just keeps it a little bit easier to manage and make sure each of the individuals gets exactly what they need.
How could they encourage people who need mentoring to volunteer?
I think that's where either your manager or someone who has already been in the program kind of recommend it for them. Just talk to them like, I think you'd really like this. You know, it might help you out and give you some more ideas about where you can go in your career and help you just excel more in your career. Just kind of put that confidence in them that, yeah, you should really do this and you'd be good at it.
I think that's a good idea.
Sorry, what was the question?
What could the company do to encourage participation by people that really need mentoring? Maybe newer employees or employees that maybe have kind of stagnated in their career development. How can they encourage it without making it mandatory?
Definitely do like the compliment sandwich. Like tell them like you are so good at doing this, this, and this. These are some things that I feel like you would benefit from, and then more compliments on the end, so that leaves them with like, oh, like I'm doing really well at this stuff, but I could also be doing even better. So just giving them like that, oh, I can always be doing better, and this person already thinks highly of me. So maybe I could even teach some other people in the program. So
I think sometimes when companies do have successful programs, they do give people like, you know, the title of like program cheerleader. Not really that exact title, but they do, you know, maybe give them some incentives to go around to different departments and talk up the program, and you know, maybe even do some type of social media promotion.
Yeah, maybe make it so they get like a certificate or something at the end of the program that qualifies them for something. I was just thinking in my head, like, why do we go to school? It's kind of relating it to that, how we do it to get a better job or get education or whatever. Maybe that certificate can maybe lead to a promotion down the line or something like that.
Yeah, I think that recognition's a really good motivator to participate. That's pretty much it. This lists the suggestions the team has come up with and discuss the pros and cons for each. I think we kind of did that when we talked about the different suggestions you guys made.
Mhm.
can you talk about doohickey?
Yeah, I wrote down the three themes for this doohickey assignment. So last week we had hiring and selection and recruiting. This week we have career development and training. And next week we have motivation and safety. Let me just pull it up real quick and read the feedback. It's going to take me a minute here, but
So did you just name off all the problems?
well, those are the subjects for the 3 weeks. So I think really what we need to do is whoever takes, say, recruiting and hiring selection, you know, identify one of the problems from the case, and
Yeah.
then, you know, solutions based on what we learned last week. So,
Okay.
all right. So here's what he said. Here's the feedback on our paper. We got 92 out of 100. Great job on a very well organized paper that has 3 problem areas identified with solutions for each that are distinct and clear. An ongoing opportunity in these papers is to go beyond presenting the solution and supporting research and articles. The opportunity lies in outlining what an implementation plan of the solution would be. In other words, what would it look like to implement a process? What timeframes and costs would be involved? As an example, there could be opportunity for this in the discrimination training, how often this would happen, and what topic areas would this cover. A few bullet points would do. The solution is a good one, and these details will only strengthen it. You've done well in coming up with good solutions and thinking about the issues this company is having. I appreciate that you brought in the treatment of the frontline employees as a problem. As feedback, your solutions surrounding benefits and safety are items that we will discuss later in the semester and that you'll have opportunity to discuss in other papers. So when it comes to motivation and safety, you know, maybe we can just focus more on the motivation, and you know, whoever takes that can look at, incentive programs or bonuses, because we've already kind of covered a safety issue. It says, I found that the more specific, less general your problem is, the easier it is to come up with solutions that are clear and don't blend. Overall, I really appreciate your work on this paper. Please make it a learning tool as you go. You are well organized, and the feedback above is given in effort to help and boost the next effort. Let me know of any questions about this paper or the next. Great job, Brother Stanley. So yeah, I think being a little more specific. I kind of noted as I was editing that yeah, we were kind of general, and so yeah, we can be a little more specific, and I think that'll bring our grade up on the next one. So we've got the three subjects, and then somebody can be the editor, and somebody can do the introduction and conclusion.
I'll do a subject this time since I did the introduction last time.
Okay, I'll do one too, and I don't care which one. Do you have a preference, Jerem?
I can do maybe motivation and safety.
Okay, so that'll be kind of next week thing. Anybody else want to do a subject? You guys can pick between the two, and I'll take what's left.
I can do one too.
Okay, do you want to do recruiting, hiring and selection, or career development and training?
I'll do the hiring.
Okay. All right.
Recruitment and hiring.
All right, then I'll do career development and training. I like that one. Lexi, which do you want to do? Do you want to do editing, or do you want to do intro and conclusion?
I can do intro conclusion.
All right, so that leaves Zeb with editing.
Okay.
I think the time frame, it worked for me. So we want to have all of our sections in by a week
Friday.
from Thursday, so that Zeb has, so Thursday night, so Zeb has like all day Friday night to edit, and can submit a document for review on Saturday. Then we can all kind of take a look at it on Saturday, and then he can submit it Saturday night.
So get it done before the 8th.
Yeah, so we should have all our parts on the Google Doc, and Tanner put one together, so we got another one going. I'll put people's parts, I'll plug them into there on Google Doc by Thursday night, 5/8.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Sounds good. I can start working on it.
Yeah.
Yep. Does anybody have anything else? Oh, I swear every time I post it, I see somebody's thing. One of the things we were supposed to come up with was a team name.
Oh yeah.
Anybody have any brilliant ideas?
Nope.
Me either.
When in doubt, Google it. Great business team names.
Well, I thought you were meaning the team name when in
That's
doubt,
what I
Google
was
it.
thinking too.
What?
I was thinking you were going to say our team name should be when in doubt, Google it. That's not bad either.
Well, if nobody comes up with something, I'll volunteer Seahawks.
Nah.
Okay, here's some. The Brainy Fools, Plugs for a Penny, Black Box Testers, Keyword a la King, Cubicle Gigglers, Bugs with Goggles, Fans of the Boss, Empty Coffee Cups, Dynamic Drillers, We Are Dynamite, Priceless Brains, Sparkling Newbies. Yeah, okay, let's see. Stockholders.
We could just be like Team HR.
There you go.
That's
Simple.
creative.
I go for creative.
The sarcastic managers. Wired technocrats. Okay, how about this? Victorious Secret. We've never won. That's the secret. These are pretty much all stupid ones. We need like a play on words, like something like human capital, like human checkbooks or. Come on, Mr. Creative there. I see your gears turning.
I think we should stick with when in doubt, Google it.
Yeah.
That's probably as good as any.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll post that on the
Okay.
Google Plus. When in doubt, Google it. All right.
Okay.
I keep thinking every time I like post something, I think, oh man, we forgot to do the team name. We're only halfway through the semester, so
Right. Yeah.
okay. All right.
Do you wanna email Zeb and tell him that he's the group leader for next week?
Yeah, I'll put a note on the recording posting
Okay, awesome.
and a link to the Google Doc. All right.
Sounds good.
Right. See you guys next week.
Okay. See you. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys later.